What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video. Before we get into it, remember to like, comment, subscribe. We're doing a giveaway once we hit 2,000 subscribers to a random comment on a video, so make sure you're commenting. Um, and those videos will only be for this year. But let's get into it because I wanted to talk about Spider-Man. Um, you know, I feel like Spider-Man is getting a lot of hate and a lot of love from like both ends because on one hand, you know, people aren't really. I mean, granted, there's not a lot of stuff out on it yet, but some people think it's not going to be a good product or not nearly as big as Final Fantasy, which is very debatable because at the end of the day, you don't know what's going to be in it. Um, and Spider Man also is a giant IP. Definitely not as big as Final Fantasy, but it's still massive. And I still think, we will see some insane numbers once we see more spoilers. So I want to take a look because I know once the Soul Stone got released, there was definitely a lot of traction coming in, but it's dying down now because it was hitting 1,000 for quite a day or two. Let's see where we're at. Maybe not. Maybe never truly hit 1,000, but you definitely get those 900 numbers. This guy got 12. I know there's a dude that bought. This guy got 52, which sucks for him because now he paid 100 more than most other people did. But maybe he knows something we don't know. But yeah, it was in the 990s for a little bit. Now it came back down. Um, Kind of crazy to say that this is the just looking at that chart, it's the prime example of FOMO. But at the same time, I think this is going to be a stellar set. I think it's going to have great cards because we've only gotten a very very small sneak peek of what's to come. We got this classic comic book art, which is I love it. I think it's pretty cool. Um, and then we got the Soul Stone, which I think will be a common theme in the next Marvel sets coming out. I don't know what it would be. I haven't looked that much into it, but as of right now, we have just the Soul Stone. And there's a lot of speculation that we'll be seeing two Infinity Stones per box, which is a possibility. I don't know the IPs they have coming out, so maybe that'll be the case. Or maybe they'll really drag it out and do one Soul Stone, and that'll be, or one Infinity Stone, and that'll be kind of the driving factor for each set, which makes sense. So I think one of two things we're going to see right now. We'll see either um, it'll be just the one stone, Infinity Stone, and with other arts, we'll probably see a like this. We might see a serialized number. It's kind of where my head's at. I think that's Route A. I mean, this is just a great artwork. Like I think that's fire. Um, or Route B, there will be another Infinity Stone in the set, and that will also drive the price up. So it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be one of those two things that really shoot this price up. Because if they end up doing two stones per set, that'll be only the beginning. So once that second stone drops, or once they release, there's a serialized stone. Which, if they do serialized, unless I'm missing something, that's the only thing I could think of that would be worth serialization. Um, Besides that, I can't imagine they serialize something else. I'm just trying to think of the Spider-Man as a whole. Um, I don't know what they would serialize. But yeah, the Soul Stone is going to be the driving, or the Infinity Stones are going to be the driving factors from the Marvel sets. Um, so that's why I think it makes sense. Like they'll do one stone per set, and they'll do essentially a serialization of it, which I think will drive the price up because I think we were right around here, and then the Soul Stone got released, and then it shot up, and at one point it was very like borderline $1,000. Um, and we're not technically in spoiler season. Like usually that's a month out, and you know in terms of spoilers, I think there's going to be a lot of good cards coming out. Because they're not going to mess up an IP. They're going to release like really great cards. Um, I don't think for the whole universe is beyond. I don't think they've really. I mean, besides Assassin's Creed, but Assassin's Creed was I don't know. I think that was like a mid tier slash smaller set, but they kind of ruined it. And honestly, I don't think it's really an IP that can stand on its own. But besides that, um, anything that major that's part of the magic, because you know Assassin's Creed didn't really have that um, playability aspect. It was a much smaller set, so it just wasn't as big, and it kind of collapsed on itself. But I think they learned, and I think they realized, well, especially from Final Fantasy. I mean, obviously they already have everything set for Spider-Man, but I think they realized, well, to really capitalize on these IPs, we got to make it good. So I think the IPs will have like insane power creep just by looking at Infinity Stone. I mean, this is kind of insane. Exile a creature you control, and at the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It's pretty good. And indestructible. I can only imagine what the other stones are going to bring to the table, but I think this is a great card. And with these IPs, I think they're going to have really powerful, good cards in these sets. And they're probably not going to ban them. Like Infinity Stone, if it ends up being broken, you never know. At the end of the day, like I mean, the One Ring was one of those cards that was broken, and it was pretty obvious from the beginning. But they're not going to ban it right away because that's like it's the chase card. So they'll wait a little bit. They'll probably wait like 6 months to a year to even try to ban the card. But to put everything together, I think this is a good price to get in. Um, I think this is good. I don't want to say it's going to blow Final Fantasy out of the water, but I think it's going to be pretty equal. One, because Final Fantasy came out, we didn't have a huge Magic or non-Magic players in the community, right? So with that, we had Final Fantasy come out, and then I think that brought a lot of players coming in that didn't really, play Magic as much, which is fine, and they really want to capitalize on what's the making of money, um, which is fair. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's part of life. It's any product. Because I think a lot of people thought like, wow, $600, $700, that's insane. No one's gonna pay that. And then I think just the hype train came out, and this is kind of where we're at right now. Um, we definitely went down a little bit because we were like 1450 a box, easy, yeah, 1500 a box at one point. But it's definitely cooled down a little bit. I would imagine it's gonna sit around like that 1400 to 1500 price range for a little bit, especially with like Spider-Man coming out and people probably selling their boxes to get in Spider-Man. But now we have all these uh, I wouldn't say illegitimate Magic players in the environment, but now we have all these new people to Magic. And whether you want to call them scalpers or whether you want to call them whatever, um, I don't want to say they're here to stay. They're here to stay for the short term, maybe a year, or maybe as long as there's this bull run in Magic. So with that being said, I think a lot of people missed the Final Fantasy train, and with that, f- you know, with FOMO, now you have people like, oh, I gotta get Spider Man, gotta get Spider Man. It's gonna shoot up. Ooh, excuse me. It's gonna shoot up. It's gonna shoot up. It's guaranteed money. I think that's what a lot of people are thinking when coming into Magic, knowing very little about it. And for this IP, I do think it will shoot up, and I do think it will be an amazing set, and I do think it would easily be before release $1,000 a box because I think some of the spoilers we're gonna get are gonna be really insane. Just my thoughts. Um, so yeah, I think this will be a easily $1,200 box. Um, come release or a little after release. I think the price will go up. So I think the 8600 now, I think it's a great buy. Um, I don't foresee it, really going back to anything below 800. Because there's definitely going to be more hype. There's going to be more spoilers, and there's going to be more FOMO. So you see another Soulstone, or you see that serialization. A lot of it's going to shoot the price up again. But I don't know. I wouldn't be scared to buy at this price. I think it's gonna be a great product. Um, it's unfortunate it's so expensive, but that's just what these IPs are. I mean, their MSRP is like 450 a box. So if you were lucky enough, you get it at like 550 a box, and that's the only way to get these boxes at a reasonable price, in the current state, because these new collector boxes with these big IPs, I think they're gonna be immediately shoot up. Um, I mean, obviously, it depends on the IP. Yeah, I think this is going to be massive. I think Avatar is going to be a massive one as well. I foresee them both doing super well. I think, Spider Man doesn't fit into Magic as well, but I feel like Avatar does. I feel like Avatar is a great set to fit into Magic. Just giving like fire, water, earth, and air. I think it's a great uh, synergistic IP, I guess you would say. So I think that's even going to be bigger than this. Um, I don't know the how big Avatar is overseas, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does even better than Final Fantasy. Just giving some of the new mechanics we're seeing and everything. But these new IPs, collector booster boxes, you have to get in early. Um, I still think this 866 is early. Um, I do think like most, if not all, probably of the IPs that come out. So you got Spider Man, Avatar, whatever it may be. I think they'll easily like be $1,000 boxes, like not off the rip, but it just they're targeting, and it's making money and it's working. So they're probably they essentially have a money printing machine at this point. So my opinion on this is buy it now. You'll get your money. You'll get your money back. Um, I just don't foresee this unless you know something happens where the spoilers comes out and there's really nothing else. Like what they released so far is what we're like the top tier. Like this is these are the best mythics we're getting. This is like one of the best mythics or something. Unless they really fumble it, I just don't foresee this being a bad set. Um, and this isn't really spoiler season, so it's just a very light taste. So it just I don't know. I think it's gonna be a great set. I'm gonna have a lot of fun playing it. I I don't know. I mean, I know people really dislike cards like this, um, or the cards like this. I mean, I don't know. I really don't see an issue. I think Magic is what it is, and it can be whatever you want it to be. I don't think it has to stay stagnant, and they have to create their universe. I think the universes beyond concept is a really cool thing to do. Um, I think it's a great way to bring people into Magic, and it's working. You got to think of that too. Like Lord of the Rings brought so many people into Magic, good and bad. Um, so let's say they brought 30,000, 40,000 people into Magic for Lord of the Rings. Some of those, let's say 90% of those people were here just to capitalize on profit. But you're still having thousands of people join the Magic, in the Magic community, and it's just like, why is that a bad thing? It's called it's. I just think it's adaptability, and that's what Magic's doing. I mean, I wouldn't say Magic was dying, but I definitely think they were stagnant. Like they were just releasing sets. And it wasn't bringing in new people. And I think this is the way to bring in new people. I really think they should, you know, bring it down a little bit with the IPs, like maybe once a year. Do the Universes Beyond max twice a year. This 3 times a year is way too much. Or at least spread it out where it's like you do a Universe Beyond in February, Universe Beyond in summer, and Universe Beyond in the winter, something like that. Um, but the way they're doing now is it's just way too much. But you know, I think spoiler season when it comes out, it's going to absolutely demolish, and I think the price is going to shoot up again. I think the hype came out for Soulstone, and that's why we're seeing a slight decrease because the hype died down a little bit. But once spoilers come out in about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, we're definitely going to see a shoot up again because that's what we saw with Final Fantasy. I think the Golden Chocobos, once they kind of released that, that also saw a huge spike. And I think we're going to see the same thing. So just like, I don't know. To me, it looks like free money, but at the end of the day, I'm just some guy talking and giving my opinion. I'm going to love playing this set. I'm going to love drafting this set. And I hope other people do too, because if people love it, it only does good for Magic. Unless, Magic the Wizards of the Coast try to screw us, like they did with Magic 30, um, like they try to do many other sets. But I think that's what's good about the community is when they do try to screw people, especially the whole community, a message is sent, and we saw that with Magic 30. And I think that definitely will be a point where if they were like, "Hey, this IP collector booster box MSRP is $700," I think then we'll start seeing like pushbacks and everything. I think they're pushing the limit now with the MSRP of 450. I mean, then again, it is an IP; they got to make their money back, which is fair. But I think if they start creeping up, I think that's when we'll start seeing problems. Because we saw that Commander Masters. They tried to charge an arm and a leg for some of the stuff, and the Magic community's like, no, it's not worth that. And we might see that soon. It just depends on the IP. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for if you're at this point, listen to me ramble on. Go get Spider-Man. Get the collectors. Get the boosters. Draft it. It's gonna be fun. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Be entered in the giveaway, and I will see you in the next video.